Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Tux Writers. In this video, we want to know a bit more about Linux, its environment, commands, and tools. So in previous video, we installed a fresh version of Ubuntu inside a virtual machine. So now I start the virtual machine, but my reference in this video will be a file named Unix Commands Cheat Sheet. You know that if you have read the history of Linux, which I recommended you to do that in previous video, you know that Linux is based on Unix, or it's very similar to Unix. It's designed to be similar to Unix, and that's why this file is called Unix Commands Cheat Sheet. So this is indeed our virtual machine now. After installing the guest additions, it's more responsive. I can go to full screen with the host F. It says that the host key is the right control, and host F is indeed a shortcut to go to full screen. So now it looks like something like this. And then I want to go for drag and drop the file here, but in order to do that, I have to enable the drag and drop feature of VirtualBox. It's indeed on the devices menu, so I will say be bidirectional, which means that I can drag and drop files in both directions, both from the guest to the host and from the host to the guest. So now I want to copy from the host to the guest. I put it here, and then it's ready to, let's go to the full screen. I say that don't show this message again. And yeah, we are here. So this is into the file, my reference. But before going to the file, I want to tell you that here, everything is very similar to, for example, if you work with Windows, you will find it similar to Windows. And if you work with Mac OS, you will find it similar to Mac OS. So here is something like the start menu of Windows. You will see that you have a bunch of different programs pre-installed on a system, including web browser, an email client, and also Office Suite. Lots of things. So this is, for example, the Office Suite, the spreadsheet program of this LibreOffice, which is indeed only one of the available free alternative to solutions to Office, Microsoft Office, for example, and also file browser. This is indeed my home directory, in this case Tux Writers home directory, and that's it. And you will see that everything is very similar to your previous experiences. But the thing is, Linux has a different directory structure. I don't want to go to that because it's unnecessary at this point. Maybe we discuss it later on with at some stages that we want to install programs. But what you should know is indeed we have a home directory here, and we have write access and permission to that. So everything that we can do whatever we want inside this directory without caring about the directory structure of Linux. And you have a terminal inside Linux. I think let's search for the terminal, which provides an interface to that command line interface of Linux. In this case, that is called Bash, which is one of these interfaces. But there are others. So what I will describe here is a combination of indeed Linux and Bash. So remember, if you switch your interface to something else like CH or ZCH or ZSH, these kind of interfaces, then the commands might be a bit different. In this case, the default installation comes with Bash, and that's what maybe you will use forever if you want to use Linux for the rest of your life. So this is indeed the beginning. Let me increase the font size. And here I have, let me type my first command, which is indeed print working directory. This is indeed important in Linux to know that where you are at this moment when you're working with this command line interface. In this case, this is indeed the current directory, this tilde symbol, which means that you're in your home directory, but the pwd command tells me that my home directory is indeed in /home/tuxwriters. This slash is indeed the root of Linux structure. You will know it eventually, so don't worry. So let's go to your cheat sheet, and you see that there is also a PDF viewer installed by default on Ubuntu. So in order to follow that, I prefer to go to the desktop and then follow the commands there. Maybe that's indeed a better way, because I want you to see that what's happening on the desktop. So I go to the desktop. How to go there? If you work with, you know, some graphical user interface like this, you know that in order to go to the desktop, you need to double click the desktop folder here, and now you are in a desktop like this one. If you want to go to the download folder, you go here. But in a CLI command line interface like this, if you want to go to a specific directory, you have to change the directory. You have to change the current directory. And in Linux and, you know, in other operating system also, it's called cd, change directory. And also here you will see that one of the basic commands that you need to know is indeed cd. So I will say cd and then the desktop. I will type des. You should remember that Linux is case sensitive, so des, in this case D should be capital, because is a capital D, because if I type desktop, then it says that the folder does not exist, no such file or directory. So I have to say cd desk. And in Linux, you have autocomplete in CLI. So in Bash, indeed, this is a feature of Bash. This is not for Linux. If I press tab, you will see that now it automatically completes what I wanted to type there. So it was indeed, for example, typing des and then pressing tab, and it automatically completes that for me. So now I am inside the desktop folder, and you see that there are some commands here. You can quickly go through this reference, and you know, you don't need to know all of this. Maybe just these file commands, that suffices. I promise you. So here you will see that it says ls. ls is indeed list command, and I want to see what is there, what exists there. And in this case, I will see that there is a PDF file there called Unix command cheat sheet. But also, what if I want to create a file there, like a text file? In this case, you will see that there is a command touch that creates or updates files. So I can say the touch, for example, test.txt. And indeed, you will see that a file is created for me. And if I want to edit it, I can use, for example, you can double click that here. You see that there is a text editor inside Ubuntu, but you can use text. You can use Bash-based, or let's say command line interface-based text editors. In this case, for example, there is a very commonly used text editor called Nano, and I can say test Nano test, and it's indeed here. So I can say hi. And with here on the bottom, you can see that Control X is indeed for coming out of this text editor. So I can say Control X, and it says, do you want to save things? I will press yes with Y, and then for coming out, I will press return or enter. So you can see that it's indeed saved here. And in order to print the content of the file, I can use the cat command, which you can see that is here, that it's indeed you can use to see the content of the file, and it says that it's indeed something is indeed in a text file. In order to create directories, I can say that make directory, or in this case I can say that, for example, projects, make directory projects. And if I want to copy or move, I can use, instead of drag and drop or copy paste, I can use cp command. So I say cp test.txt. Remember, we are inside the desktop folder. Cp command cp test.txt inside the project. And if I go inside project, remember, I will type pro and press tab, and inside the project, and I create ls, you can see that I have it here. And there are switches to commands. For example, for ls, it's in this reference sheet, and it says that, for example, with a dash, you can provide more, you can change the behavior of the command. In this case, for example, if I provide it with L, it says that, okay, command, it prints, displays the output using lists instead of just normal, you see, normal output of the lists, of the list directory. It displays it in a matrix format, like columns. This is a permission, and then the owner, the size. This is in this. The date. Yeah, this is the date, and this is indeed the size. And the date and time that is modified, and the name of the file. So if I create, for example, another one, another file, you can see that, for example, file 2.txt, you see that another file is inserted there. So I'm so sorry. That was indeed, that was correct. This was the size, and that was the date. I'm so sorry. That was the size. I remember the size was something in the center, in the middle, but no problem. So that's indeed, for example, how this list command works. And what if I want to go back to the parent directory? Now I'm inside this folder. In order to go back to the parent directory, you can use double dots, something like this. 2 dots together with a space, of course. This space is crucial. So it means that go back to the previous directory, and now I'm in the previous directory, just as simple as that. And if I want to remove a file, for example, I go back to the project directory, and if I want to remove, you see here that there are 2 files here. Maybe the fonts are small, I'm so sorry for that. But if I say remove, for example, file 2, and press enter, the file 2 file will be removed. And that's indeed the way that this rm command works. And if I want to remove a directory, I go one folder up. Sorry. Single dot means current directory. Double dots means parent directory. So if I want to remove the project folder directory, if I say remove project, you will see that it tells me that this is a directory. I cannot remove that. And in order to remove that, you should provide it with a recursive switch. So recursive switch project, remove everything recursively inside that folder. So that is indeed how it works. And in order to, similar to CP, we have MV, which is indeed move the file somewhere else, and head and tail commands, which is indeed when you have some, a text file with lots of rows and lots of content, you can use head and tail command to print specific ranges of data in the beginning and in the end of the file, this sort of things. So the thing is, now you can see that indeed working with this command line interface is relatively easy. That has nothing special that you need to be worried about. So be sure to download this Unix cheat sheet and go through that, especially for these file commands, which is indeed important for us. And also for the compression, maybe file permissions. We don't have things to do with file permission at this moment. Maybe during the videos I will describe that in detail in case we download something that has wrong permissions. For connected to remote computers, we don't need that. For searching, I will provide you with enough information during the sessions. System information, you can start to run these commands on your system to see what happens. For example, in some cases you want to know with which user. For example, you go to another user, you log in with another user, insert your current user, and these commands comes handy when you want to know that, for example, what is your current user. So it is indeed, for example, you say, who am I? And it says that you are Tux Riders. You know, this looks a bit basic, but there are indeed some purposes. This is indeed a philosophy of Unix, to have a wide variety of small utilities that they can work together to build a bigger system, or to accomplish bigger tasks. And that's indeed a very nice philosophy, and that's why Linux is very successful on high performance computing, on servers, on high demand applications, this kind of stuff. And that's indeed is rooted inside this Unix philosophy. And also for compression, we will have things to do with compression also. When we download source codes of the programs, you will see that they usually come with the tar.gz file extension. And tar means that it is into the tarball, like something that is not compressed, but they are just packed together. And with gz, it means that it has been compressed with gzip format, which is one of the free and open source compression formats. So this is indeed a cheat sheet. I highly advise you to go through that, to just know that these are the commands. So in Linux, when you want to deal with things, you just type commands, and bash transfer the commands to the kernel, and the kernel will execute that for you, more or less. So that was indeed the session. That was the things that I wanted to tell you about the introduction to Linux. Now you can see that it's not difficult at all. You can exactly repeat what you do with a graphical interface here using these commands. But yeah, this is also important to know the sum of the commands, and you will know more when we go on. You will see that, okay, there are commands to manipulate, for example, system configurations or install things, and also for having things, like having sort of compiling things and those kind of stuff. We need more commands, but the basic thing is like this. So that's the way that commands work in Linux. So again, make sure to download this and have fun with that. And from the next video, we will start to install real scientific computing programs on this virtual machine. So stay safe, and bye.